Hi, I'm Turk. Fun fact, no one is making it out of this life alive. True story. We often plan for life's big milestones, birthdays, graduations, weddings, even retirement, but we seldom prepare or even talk about life's ultimate conclusion, death. And yet, understanding what end-of-life care really means can make this part of life less frightening and more meaningful. Today I'll walk you through the who, what, where, when, why, and how of end-of-life care, supported by recent research. Let's start with the who. End-of-life care involves patients nearing the end of their lives, their families, and a team of healthcare professionals. This team often includes doctors, nurses, social workers, chaplains, friends, and a respite team if they can afford it or have it, all working together to provide support. Now that we have identified who is involved, let's take a closer look at what this care actually is. End-of-life care is a holistic approach that addresses physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual needs. It recognizes that in the final stage of life, comfort and meaning are just as important as medical treatment. Knowing what it is naturally leads to the question of where this care takes place. End-of-life care can occur in many settings: at home, in hospitals, in hospice centers, or in long-term care facilities. Recent research published in Cancer Nursing shows that home-based palliative care often improves quality of life and allows more patients to pass away in their preferred location, which more often than not is at home. Of course, knowing the settings makes us wonder when this care should begin. End-of-life care typically starts when someone is entering the last stage of illness, often defined as about 6 months or less to live. But timing is only part of the story. The deeper question is why this care matters so much. The primary goal of end-of-life care is to enhance quality of life for patients and their families. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's classic work, On Death and Dying, introduced the 5 stages of grief. We have denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. These stages still show how they shape the process and why it's so important to provide support during this time. It's powerful work. But now that we know the purpose, the final step is to explore how end-of-life care is carried out. It's delivered through a coordinated plan that includes pain and symptom management, emotional and spiritual support, and help with decision-making. A study published in the Journal of Hospice and Palliative Nursing highlights the vital role hospice nurses play in easing suffering and guiding families through the final days. So we've now walked through the whole who, what, where, when, why, and how of end-of-life care. So what should we carry with us from this? End-of-life care is not about giving up. It is about giving meaning, comfort, and dignity in the time we have left. We plan for beginnings, the birthdays, the weddings, the graduations, all of it. But we often avoid planning for the end. We don't even talk about it. End-of-life care reminds us that while we cannot control death or its arrival, we can shape the journey toward it with compassion, dignity, and love. And in doing so, we not only honor those who are dying, but we affirm the meaning of life itself. Thank you.